Hi, this is Jason from Sweaty Heroes, and today we're talking about Wildstorm Adventures and and some other comic bargains that I found. So Wildstorm was originally part of Jim Lee division of Image, and then he brought a lot of those characters over to DC and through his Wildstorm Entertainment. And so let's look at some of these series. So you got Gen 13, which this issue is from Image and is drawn by Gary Frank. So they're kind of very much like Generation X, very much like the X-Men, kind of young, hippie X-Men before the MTV generation of the 90s. You got Stormwatch. This is during the New 52 era. Again, Wildstorm characters. America's Best Comics were Alan Moore creating his own kind of corner of the universe. And DC did publish them under America's Best Comics, much to Alan Moore not wanting that necessarily. But this is top 10, and it looks like an Alex Ross cover. Tom Strong was kind of like in the style of like a Doc Savage, I guess. And then there's that book. The Authority is kind of like the anti-Justice League, and this is a Grant Morrison issue from Wildstorm. Mr. Majestic is kind of like a Superman, a Wildstorm version of Superman, and kind of made less sense when he was brought into the DC universe. So I kind of think that these Wildstorm characters really belong more in the Wildstorm, their own pocket universe, as opposed to the DC universe itself. Then we have some other cool little tidbits here. We got an Astro City here, which is Kurt Busiek's Astro City. This one was by Image. Astro City was like Kurt Busiek created a whole city of like Marvel and DC archetypes in the city, and with Alex Ross doing a lot of the designs as well for the characters. And it was always like kind of more told from the perspective of the average person usually in the city, as opposed to just strictly from the superheroes. It's one of those ideas that would make a great streaming series, especially since it's like from the point of view of the average folk. Astro City's pretty cool. I've never read this before, but J.M.N. Straczynski, known as for doing Amazing Spider-Man, but also best known for Babylon 5, doing his series he created called Dream Police. And Icon actually is publishing from Marvel Comics, I believe. We have an issue of Micronauts here, which was a toy line. And then keeping in with some of these ones based on toy lines, we have or movies. We have No Escape, which is based on a film from the 90s. And then we have Demolition Man, based on the Sylvester Stallone film with Wesley Snipes and Sly Stallone, taking place in the future, which is now way past, but that's okay. Taco Bell, that's all you need to know. It's not Taco Bell became the number one choice for everybody. Viper was kind of like Knight Rider, and I guess they did a comic book of it. Judge Dredd is a British hero, and sometimes he's been published by different publishers. In this case, it was by DC. Here's some Star Trek. Here's a Star Trek by Marvel, early voyages, focusing on the Captain Pike Enterprise. Kind of cool. I've read some of these; are really fun. Here's one poor shape. You can see that it was really damaged, but it's a Malibu Comics Star Trek Deep Space Nine comic. Who would have thought that you would have a CSI comic book, eh? But yes, a CSI comic book from IDW, which actually helped them probably get the Star Trek license because Paramount owned CSI. This is kind of older. Ripley's Believe It or Not, True Ghost Stories. And then here's a random issue called Attack, which is kind of a war book that was in the 70s. And so that's kind of like a random comic book that I found as well. And yeah, that kind of, and while we're at it, we'll throw in these two Marvel New Universes, which New Universe was set in what came out in the 25th anniversary of Marvel, and they were basically trying something different. They were trying to have a new universe, which was going to be more sci-fi, realistic base. I think it'd be cool to take those ideas, dust them off, and maybe do something with, I don't know, on the streaming channel like Hulu or something, if it's still around when this video was made. You watch this video, but like basically you could do like a more of a, not adult, like not mature readers, but like kind of, I don't want to say darker take, but more of a sci-fi take. You know what I mean? Like a hard sci-fi, like kind of like an Interstellar. That's what I'm thinking of. Like Interstellar is a sci-fi movie, but like it's not like a mature reader sci-fi movie, but it's still definitely more thinking. You know what I mean? I would do that with these heroes. And then you have another issue of Micronauts that I found. That I found, which is again based on the toy line. Prince Valiant, based on the comic strip, and Marvel apparently was doing a couple miniseries of this. This one was Charles Vess, which is a famous artist. He did some pretty good art. And the Phantom, another comic strip that came to life in a comic book from Marvel for a short time. That's what I got today. So until next time, Sweaty Heroes.